So when we start talking about quality assurance, I say in here quality and ISO, but it's not just the International Standards Organisation. There's quite a few different types of quality methodology. ISO just tends to be an international certification that a lot of companies now aim for, particularly if they're going for government contracts or anything like that, because quite often it's now an industry standard, so therefore the government department per se may turn around and say, okay, in order to be able to secure this infrastructure project doing the toll road from A to B, you have to be quality certified, blah, 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 blah. And so organisations may not choose to be certified, but they may have to be. So this presentation just goes through some of the objectives of quality management and the ISO certification. And online you'll see that there's a few different links I've put in there regarding different people's interpretation of what quality assurance is versus quality control, and a few other things in there as well. So the purpose of having a quality system is to establish the appropriate benchmarks so that the process around a deliverable will be consistently and accurately followed, so that the end result, the theory is that the end result is the same every single time. But what a lot of people don't realise is that when a company is quality certified or quality assured, it doesn't actually guarantee that you're going to get a perfect, say the company makes compressors, it's not the perfect compressor that's assured, it's the process that went around making it. So if you've got a dodgy compressor, you can't go and complain to the ISO or anyone else. You've actually got to go back to the company under warranty or anything, same as always. But the principle is that the certification means, or it's meant to mean, that that compressor is made the same way, using the same quality of materials every single time. So the opportunity for failure is reduced. Having said that, I've seen a lot of companies that are, inverted commas, quality certified, and the folder that gives them that quality certification sits on the top shelf. It doesn't actually influence the methodology or the way that they work or the culture of the way they work within the company. And if that's the way they handle it, there's no point in doing it. If you're going to go through the pain of ISO certification or Australian Standard certification or whatever, then the principle is you're doing it to actually improve your company, not just to make your life difficult once a year or once every 6 months or whenever they're going to come and audit you. So it's also to, being quality certified is also to make certain that the process is followed appropriately, as I was saying, and that you monitor, check and control what you're doing. In the scope documents we had critical success criteria, so the quality assurance or the quality requirements should, in your quality plan, first look at what that critical success criteria is, so that you can make sure that you are doing all the quality steps to lead that accomplishment and have happy stakeholders at the end of the day. So there's 4 things that most people talk about. They either say plan, do, check, review, or plan, do, check, act. So what it is, when you're going through a plan, you're actually identifying the process or the checkpoints, or you're saying, okay, well, in order to, this is a risk point for us, with this weld here is a real big stress point. We need to check that it does this and this and this every time, so that that's part of your checkpoint, and you make sure that that's signed off every time that weld has to be done. Do is when you're actually following the plan, you're following the thing that you've written down, following the process that was identified. Checks when you're going through an audit and checkpoints, and you're actually recording the information and keeping the records available for future audit. And review is for your ongoing improvement. Now, any sort of certification that you go for will always expect you to have ongoing improvement. Once you do it once, it's not saying that you do it once and therefore it's perfect forever. You're actually meant to have an expectation to continuously review it. If it hasn't changed, then that's fine, but as long as you ensure that it hasn't changed, you don't just assume that it's accurate for the next 10 years. So we need to clarify the difference between quality assurance and quality control. These terms are often misunderstood or assumed to mean the same thing, and they actually don't. So when we're talking about quality control, we're looking at the actual deliverable, particularly for the project itself. So it's usually once the deliverable has been accomplished or partly accomplished, whereas quality assurance is around the process and the activities that are undertaken to create that deliverable. So in this context, the quality control would be checking and doing quality tests on the deliverable once it's finished, whereas quality assurance is more looking at the process around it while it is being created. So when we talk about assurance generally, it's the act of giving confidence, the state of being certain or the act of making certain. So when we're talking about quality assurance, it's the planned activities and the systematic activities as part of the quality system. So an example would include process checklists and project audits. Remembering that the quality assurance activities are focused on the process used to create the project deliverable. Whereas in contrast, quality control is around the techniques and activities used to check the quality of the finished product. So it will be the testing process. So there's quite a few different sorts of quality certification. There's Australian standards, the International Standards Organisation, there's Total Quality Management, and there's a whole heap more. There's industry type accreditations, but there's also bodies. There's with steel, for example, I know that ACES I can't remember what ACES stands for. It's an industry organisation certification rather than an international body or anything like that. This one is one that gets used a lot in certification speak now, and it's because what it actually talks about is that you must have a set of information as a minimum that actually tells you how to run your organisation. Now this is only one example, but you've got to have the set of procedures. Now when you talk about procedures, you're not just talking about a written document that goes for 15 pages about how to start the Go-Go Mobile. It's the process maps, it's using multimedia, it's talking about the checklists and all the things that go around the process from end to end. Now this can be done quite simply. It doesn't have to be the full work instructions right down to the nth detail. It needs to be consistent and understandable by somebody who doesn't actually do the job. So when an auditor walks in, they can turn around and check that what this person is doing is the same as what's written down or what the approved process is. So monitoring the processes. So if a company has decided that a quality requirement is part of their culture, they will actually have an internal audit schedule, usually, or they'll have ways of checking without it actually being done by an external body, just so that they're continually checking, updating, improving, making sure that the errors that they make, because everybody does and every organisation does, but the errors that they make are actually opportunities for improvement to prevent it from happening again. So checking output for defects, if there's anything wrong, if there's any opportunity, if they want to, you want to make sure that you prevent that from occurring again, and regularly reviewing individual processes and quality system for effectiveness. And of course, something can be effective without it being efficient, and you can be efficient without being effective. So you need to make sure that you get the appropriate balance in your quality system. So effective means that you actually achieve what you want to do, but you might do it and complete long way around getting there, and efficient might be that you get to what your requirement is really quickly, but it's not the quality, it's not the standard that you actually want. And obviously continuous improvement. Okay, as I mentioned before, certification for quality does not guarantee the quality of the end product. It's the process around the generation of those end products.